Hello, hello, and good morning, and welcome back to another episode of You Are the Masterpiece, where we are talking about that it's okay to be work in the progress and the masterpiece at the same time. We do not have to be perfect as long as we are taking the effort. And if this is the first time you are tuning in, hello, my name is Irina Portnova, and I'm a manifestation star because I help people how to consciously manifest great things in their life, whether this is relationship or financial abundance or time and money freedom, whatever it is on your heart. I help you to materialize and make your wishes come true. And I'm today here honored to be with my guest, Laura Deter. And Laura, what an interesting morning did we have?
There have been,
Welcome.
thank you. We've kind of moved heaven and earth to get here this morning. The internet's out at my house and it's out in a lot of places, like the two coffee shops I went to before I landed at the library. So
Mhm.
that's the fluorescent lighting in the back, and we made it happen.
Totally. And that's exactly what the right mindset comes to the play. Because when we have the right mindset, we are not allowing any obstacles or circumstances to determine who we are. We are not getting stressed. We are just following the process and we are just staying present in the moment, knowing that everything is going to work out. And that's the beauty of the work, of the inner work, right? So,
Okay.
Laura, tell a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in this world.
Well, I was feeling a little stressed, okay? I'm going to own that, but I didn't let it stop me.
Yes, you did
That's the
amazing.
thing that I've found helpful to remember is that stuff is gonna happen just
Totally.
because we live on this planet and people are, not everybody's really well adjusted. Just
Mm-hmm.
saying. So we can choose how to react or respond, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is what's coming to my heart right now. This is Laura 3.0. Okay, Laura 2.0 would have canceled. Laura 1.0 would have been drunk. Okay, Just- this
Celebrating
is
with you.
this
Yes.
is my new version, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really shifted energetically for me. Blah, blah, blah. I did know how to talk energetically for me in the last 2 weeks. Before that, I was searching for the answer, and there's one answer, and I've been alcohol free for about 4 years. That was the major shift from Laura 1.0 to 2.0 is I was drinking for many years because I didn't feel like I was good enough. I
Mm-hmm.
messed things up. Things were, and then when you're drinking, gee, things aren't good enough, because you mess things up more because you're drunk. It's just a really ugly cycle. And the way I got out of it was not white knuckling, forcing, you know. Um, the way I shifted things was to look at the thoughts underneath the drinking and look at the beliefs I had about myself and about the alcohol and about all the things, right? And then I was able to just shift my thoughts and my actions, and all the things fell into place. So the habits are kind of what we're talking about. Practicing curiosity instead of judgment is a
Mm-hmm.
huge first step. And it's kind of like I was talking to a friend last night about this, and it's like the habits are the doorway. And
Mm-hmm.
another friend of mine talks about moving from survivability. Let's see if I can remember this because I didn't write it down. Survivability is to sustain, and then success, and then significance. And
Mm-hmm.
the first two, it's our habits to get out of survival, right? It's our
Mm-hmm.
habits that have to change. And then once we're pretty good in stability, I think that's the next spot. Is from stability to success is mindset.
Yes, I love it.
And
And that's exactly what we are going to talk about, right? The habit.
yeah, and this is my friend Victoria Rader, Rader, is who I learned this from. So I want to credit her because she's made a major impact in my life just from me
Mm-hmm.
being present, listening. I don't, I'm sorry, I'm right in the middle. I'll try to talk more quietly. So the fun part about being in the library, they didn't have a quiet area
Hmm.
for me to be. So I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
So okay. Lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you were mentioning Victoria that she taught you.
Yeah. So when you learn to shift what you're doing from a place of your thinking about it, thinking about how to react differently. Brooke Castillo taught me it's basic cognitive behavioral therapy stuff. It's that our beliefs and our thoughts create our actions, which create our results. The circumstance is one thing, and then how we choose to think about that changes everything.
Hmm.
If you look at the political situation in the US, I'm not going to go there really, but you look at some people are thinking that the new president is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and some people want to lynch him. So it's our thinking about him that changes our perspective. It's
Hmm.
like a different
Yeah,
pair of glasses.
totally.
So,
Totally.
and we can change those thoughts. So many of us believe that just because we think something, it's true.
Hmm.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And if you look at a little kid, they don't always think things, and we used to think the world was flat. That didn't make that true. So just starting to, and it takes practice, you guys. You have to start questioning your beliefs and questioning your thoughts and thinking about the way you feel, and then back tracing it to what was that thought I had. And then I'm getting to a point now where I'm able to think about what I want to get done, like getting here for this podcast. It's like it was determination is how I needed to feel,
Hmm.
because I felt like, yeah, whatever, complacency, I can't even describe that feeling right now because I don't remember it very well. But it's, it was determination, and it was persistence and tenacity. And so you can choose those feelings, and then you can think back, well, what would I have to think about in order to make this happen?
Hmm. You
What would
know
I have
what,
to think
Laura? I
about?
love that you are talking with the lower voice because actually, this is a great way to pay more attention to every word that you are saying. And
Thank you.
this is a great strategy. But what I wanted just to point out, like the inner work is the
Mm,
most rigorous work, but it's the
yeah,
most rewarding work because a lot of people might consume a lot of information. Sometimes you talk to the people and they're like, yeah, I know this is my habit, but they do not make any decision and accountability. So basically, whatever life we are experiencing in the present moment is the reflection of our thinking and our feelings and our behaviors. And like how do we deal with that, right? And everything starts from the decision, because unless the person makes a decision, this is something I want to change, nothing is going to change for them. So like decision is like the number one thing, right? Everything stems from the decision,
yeah,
and then we start little by little, right? So we do not have to conquer the world in one day, because
you can't.
again, no, the success is not experienced in one huge leap right away. It's all these thousands of small steps that
Yeah,
generate that success that people are actually, all of us, can tap to.
yeah. And really, habits are, there's been so much about neuroscience that we've learned in the last 20 years. And I'm like a sponge when it comes to this stuff. I am just learning like crazy. And my dad was a lifelong learner. So thank you, Dad. Um, not about stuff like this, but he knew rocks and cars and all kinds of things. But anyway, so habits are, our brain likes efficiency. It likes to do the same thing over and over and over because it knows how.
Hmm.
Think about driving someplace that you go all the time. You didn't even think about it.
Hmm.
I used to drive past my girlfriend's house on the way to my house all the time and forget to drop her off. you know, because I was on my way to my house. She'd fix it. We laughed about it. Um, but that's a habit. And even
Hmm.
driving, riding a bike, all those things my grandson learning to walk, that's a habit. And you practice and you learn and you try. And as adults, we're so conditioned to our school system thinks about don't do things wrong, you must get an A. And then as grown-ups, if we're going to succeed in the world, especially when we want to do bigger things, we have to learn and try and screw it up and learn and try and screw it up and learn and try and screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it works. So, but when you're curious about your screw ups, and you're like, oh, I'm human. My brain's doing what it's supposed to do, you know. So the neural pathways are like a path in the jungle, you know, and because you've taken that path for many years, it's well worn, it's wide, it's smooth, it's like a 6-lane freeway. I mean, that's the way your brain wants to go because it wants to save energy.
Mm-hmm.
Smart, right? So when you make a change, think jungle and think machete sometimes, right? You got to hack your way through it. And you're going to
Mm-hmm.
get tired and you're going to turn back and all the things. That's okay. Your brain is just being human. So when letting go of alcohol, I didn't like day one and I must stop, right? It was, okay, let me count the days in this month that I'm drinking. Last month I drank every day. This month I drank half of the days. That's 50% increase. That's fucking
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Sorry, used to drink, now I curse. Um, so then the next month it might be 80%. And then you might
Mm-hmm.
move up to like only drinking 2 days during a month. That's a 98, whatever the percentage is, like 97%. That's an A plus. That's amazing. Who cares that you
Mm-hmm.
drank those 2 days? Who cares? Does it really matter? So it's a
Laura, I have a
different
question for
reframing.
you.
Yeah.
Well, I have a yeah, brilliant share. I have a question for you. What was the turning point for you that you decided to stop? Because obviously we are all having our own reasons why
Oh,
we want
which
to
turning
change.
point? I had many. Um, there comes a point, okay, alcohol is an addictive substance, and we're not taught that. We're taught have a drink, have a drink, have a drink. Okay. And in Western culture, it's just what we do. Um, at least that's the way I was raised. And I think that's true for many of us. And then, oh my gosh, you've had too many. You're an alcoholic. You're broken, you know? And it started interfering with my life more and more. I started drinking earlier in the day. It was a very gradual decline. And then all of a sudden it was like, I want to quit, but I don't know how. And
Mm-hmm.
I did rehab, I did AA, I did all those things. And it worked for a while, but it was very much the energy of tension and white knuckling it and forcing and not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And I got mad. I remember the day I caved. I'm not going to go into that one because we don't have the time. But and I got mad and I bought wine on the way home. And then it's like I couldn't go back. And they were really kind to people who went back at AA meetings. But it's like, oh, poor you, you started again. It's inevitable, you know, you start drinking, you'll be dying or in jail and all the things. And I'm like, no, no, I am not going to be powerless. So I tried to moderate. And it's very possible, very doable. If you want to do that, I'll work with you in that way. That's fine. But it's very hard. It takes a lot of mental energy to make all those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I puddled around with that for like 5 years. And then I heard about the program that got me through my alcohol issues. It was
Mm-hmm.
just a different coaching program, and it was talking more about the neuroscience and how the brain works and how to, count percentages instead of days, and gave me the
Mm-hmm.
tools to look at my brain in a healthier way that I'd never gotten in
Mm-hmm.
therapy. And therapy's like, well, tell me about your dad. No, that's not helpful. I mean, it can be,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not dissing those other methods. If they work for you, wonderful, but it's not black and white and it's not linear. I was talking with a friend last night, and it's like the new neural pathways and the machete thing and all that, it's the successes that we're going to have and the shifts that we're going to have it's kind of like a spiral. right? It
Mm-hmm.
starts really
Totally.
tight, maybe a
We are living
rosebud.
in a spiral universe, remember?
Yeah, and well, you were talking about that, and it all layered in so beautifully. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like a spiral thing, and you're always getting a almost a rosebud comes to my mind, where it's
Mm-hmm.
tight and closed and harsh and almost not quite harsh, but and then it opens and gets bigger and brighter and up towards your future. And so I've really embraced. I, okay, when people say, "Oh, I'm broken," that's a trigger word for me. Nobody's broken. We're bent,
Mm-hmm.
bruised, battered, all those things, right? But if you're a human being and you're on the planet and you were created by the sperm that won the race out of what 10,000 sperm that got your mother pregnant, one egg, one sperm. That's unique. That's amazing. That's you. And that never changes. Just as human beings, we have inherent worth. Just saying. So I
Mm-hmm.
embrace that. Now, I'm not telling you I'm perfect by any means, but I think we are imperfectly perfect.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what
And
this is all about.
yeah, it's imperfectly perfect, and we have the power to change our lives or not.
Yeah,
And if
again,
we
we
can,
are the ones to make a decision, right, Laura? I just wanted to point out that a lot of times people are staying in the position because of that person, I'm this way. Because of my job, I'm this way, right? Because of my circumstances. So a lot of times people unconsciously placing somebody else rather than understanding that everything stems from ourselves. We
well,
are the ones in charge. So we either can be the victim or the hero.
it's easier to blame somebody else.
It is, right?
It's a lot easier. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been in conversation a lot lately with a young woman who's going through a lot, and I'm not going to say her relationship or her name, her relationship to me or her name because it's private. Um, but she's got a lot on her plate, and it's always, oh, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and my boyfriend, and my cat, da, da, da. And I'm like, get off your ass and go volunteer somewhere. Find a better
Mm-hmm.
job. Find Talk to different people. Go find things that you love to do, and you will meet more people. Sitting in
Mm-hmm.
your room and wallowing is not going to help. And I've beaten my head against the wall and hers with this. And the other day, I finally went, wait a minute, what are you grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
And I need to follow up with her, and because I asked her for a list, and I'm trying to get her to go see a therapist, and she's pushing back at me on that one. But and she is somebody that is close, and I do want to help. So but it's got to come from her. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to just hold
Decision.
space for her, hold the space
Yes.
for her, and love her
Mm-hmm.
regardless, and let her screw it up until she's done screwing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So
when she's ready to move forward, I'm here to hold her hand.
yes, totally hear you. Can you please share some, like basic tools for starting changing their habits? Like what really worked for you? Something simple, something people can just try on and, have fun with that. Remember, because we are both the same way. We want to be fun. We want to be easy. We do not want something, another
Well,
task on our list.
there's the question right there is how can I do this and have it be fun?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How can this be fun? And then with exercising and things like that you're supposed to do this every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, don't set yourself up to say I'm going to go to the gym, or if you want to go for it. My husband loves going to the gym, and he comes home and he did this and this hurts, and I'm like, you think you're paying to do this, your body? Okay, fine. But for me, I did 3 minutes every day
Mm-hmm.
in between knee surgeries. And it's like, I need to get my leg muscles stronger. I want to be stronger. I want to recover from the second knee surgery faster than the first one. So I'm going to commit to 3 minutes. And some people might say, oh, that's not enough. What good is it? Well, it builds consistency
Mm-hmm.
and it builds belief. And just like even you're trying to stop drinking or not eat that cake or whatever it is, can you delay it a little while and just practice experiencing those feelings? Because that's what we're afraid of. We're afraid we can't handle the feelings.
Right.
And a feeling is not going to hurt you, it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But feelings are energy in motion, it's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you let yourself feel it, you get in the whole, I do that really well. Um, and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what was I so upset about in the first place? So how can it be fun? How else can I think about this? How questions instead of why questions. Um, really powerful because how your brain wants to answer the question. How can I do this differently? How can I think about that differently? If you ask why, sometimes like, why did I make that mistake? Right? I used to ask that. And then my brain would tell me why. Because you're an idiot, because you're the fourth kid in 5 years, because you don't do anything right, and all the negative things and the horrible self talk. So the biggest thing is catching your self talk and questioning it. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Would you talk that way to a friend? I have a picture of myself as a little girl um, in my office where I can see it every day. And I'm like, I need to be nice to her. She deserves that. So those are things that just help me be. The biggest thing is being kind to yourself and forgiving to yourself. You are doing the best you can with the skills and tools you have at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, I believe that if we knew better or could, we might know better, but we can't do it. And that's the talking about. It's in your head, but it's not in your heart yet.
Mm-hmm. So I love
And
what you
yeah,
shared. Yeah, I love what you shared, Laura. So you said 3 minutes, start building that consistency. And with the time, you can increase the time, right? And look more
hmm
deeper. Okay, what is another tool?
it's mostly the mindset and what you're thinking and what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying to yourself. And how badly, why do you want that habit? What good is it going to bring to your life? What are some
Mm-hmm.
long-term outcomes? And what are the long-term outcomes of some of your negative habits, maybe? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, is this really, and then I think picking one main thing to work on too. I there's some health issues that I'm working on, but I'm working more on a visibility for my business and just talking to
Mm-hmm.
people and getting out there and letting people know what I'm doing. And the skills I'm learning for that are going to help me on my health journey because I've got
Mm-hmm.
more energy, because I've got more vibrancy, because I believe in myself. So I'm getting off my butt more and moving more and doing more things. And I'm getting out and meeting people. And it's so much fun. And
It
those
is.
things are benefiting my health. And as I'm less stressed about my job situation and my financial situation, I don't want to put things in my mouth to numb that because
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to.
Right. So, what would
I'm
be
not
like a great tip for everybody who might be pondering? Should I start? Should I implement something? Because again, it's very easy to go back to our old habits. That's why we all require somebody by our side to have the coach, the mentor, somebody who we are
um,
accountable to. Because
good
it's
point.
impossible to do it alone, right? Because as much as we all get inspired, but inspiration is just merely the entertainment if we do not have that great proven system that generates the results. So, what would be the tip that you can give to somebody who is just, like on that line of,
I
okay,
think you said it right there. You can't do it by yourself. So, and there are
totally.
lots of different ways to find partners to work
Mm-hmm,
with. Usually,
mm-hmm,
a friend can be amazing,
mm-hmm,
a coach, a group, as long as you're willing to open up in the group. And you
Mm-hmm.
can lurk for a while if you need to, but mostly it's somebody said something the other day that it was like, I think it was something like fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse the language again, but play around with things
Totally. Experiment.
and experiment and learn to trust your intuition. This takes practice too.
Mm-hmm.
And then meditating, and that's been hard for me because I don't like quiet. Can you tell I like to talk? Um, but I have practiced that as well with just a few minutes in the morning, and then I fall asleep to something, a guided meditation every night.
Mm-hmm.
So those are little things that will just help calm you down a little bit. Deep breathing, deep breathing. I can't believe I forgot that. It takes you
Mm-hmm.
out of fight or flight,
Mm-hmm.
and just a couple of deep breaths. Huge, huge difference. So
Mm-hmm. I love it.
deep breathing and curiosity are probably the biggest
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yes, I love it. Like those are amazing tools, especially like a lot of times we were trained, like going through school through by parents that everything has to be, we have to have all the rows in the duck, all ducks in the row, right? But the idea is that no, we don't. Especially if we are venturing out to experiment something new, it's okay for us to fail forward as long as we keep doing, as long as we keep discovering, and that's the part of the journey, understanding that this is the grit of the mindset. It's not
Mm-hmm.
somebody who is easily just, like something does not work for me this time, I'm just gonna quit. It's easy to quit, but try to stay in the game, because that's where
Yeah.
the fun happens. And for a lot of
And
people, they just want to, experience right away, but everything takes time, and people have to learn how to be patient and allow things to unfold.
oh, I just had a thought about years ago. I've had a Mary Kay Cosmetics business for decades. And one of the things I really loved about that is you can promote yourself and move into management and all the things, right? And I had some success in that, okay? But it wasn't sustainable and it wasn't really done in in a sustainable way, right? So I took some shortcuts. I because I wanted it so bad because I didn't believe in myself at all. So looking back at that, those were hollow because I felt very inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm sitting here today, it's like I earned this. I worked, I shifted, I tried again, I screwed up, I tried again, and I kept going no matter
Mm-hmm.
what. And that tenacity, that's where you feel really amazing about yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody can take that away from you.
Absolutely. I love that. I just love to kind of, summarize on it, saying that, the inner work is something that once we tap into our power, it doesn't matter what's going on outside. It doesn't matter if our partner walks away. It doesn't matter if we have any financial struggles. The point is that we know how to
Yeah,
reinvent ourselves, because
yeah.
once you have these tools, once you have that strengths of your mindset, everything is possible. You stop worrying about, you stop stressing out, you just know that you are in charge and you are in power.
And it's not about finding out there somewhere. It's about
It's
finding,
in there, within.
refinding where you are inside that
Hmm.
the world took you down and crushed you a little bit. Because we're
Absolutely.
taught, oh, don't be selfish, and don't think you're
Hmm.
better than anybody else, you know.
Hmm.
And I'm not better than anybody else, but I'm damn well as good as.
Hmm. Again, coming back to the beliefs, right? And we all can upgrade our beliefs, and we all can change our habits, because once we change our habits, we change our life. The results of our life is going to be changed. All right. Thank you so much, Debbie. I mean, Laura. I'm sorry. I'm like,
Oh,
somebody
you're being
probably with the
human.
name Debbie is watching the episode for sure. Like,
Oh,
it's just like things coming out. But Laura, thank you so much for bringing some light into this and into this conversation. And I'm sure whoever had to resonate with the message, they will. and for everybody just to make a decision that you want the change in life. It's not enough to complain, it's not enough just to point out, but what can you do about it? And today is the day. There is no better time than now, because now is only thing we have. And
Yeah.
thank you so much again for coming to this episode, for sharing your life story. And let's continue enlighten people, encouraging them to really step into their power and know that everything starts within. Thank
You
you.
bet.
And everybody, see you
So,
on the next episode.
all right.
Thank
You
you.
guys take care. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate it.